So, Professor, we have talked about what focus is and how metacognition and discipline are integral to it. If I were entirely uninitiated, how would you suggest I get better at developing focus? What does metacognition entail when it comes down to practicing it?
You can improve your mental focus and increase your concentration by practicing mindfulness. Being able to pay attention to one task at a time is so important. Underestimating the value of this ability is all too easy. Mindfulness meditation trains your brain to be better at concentrating because each time you notice that your mind wanders off from whatever you are focusing on, you intentionally bring your attention back to the object of your attention. This is an incredibly useful technique to learn that can help you both while you are working and prepare you before you are working. There are a lot of apps and tools available online to teach mindfulness for free. I am sure you could find a lot of YouTube videos available as well. Coming to metacognition, the first step is to identify how you learn and work. Be aware of what your learning style is. Is it visual, auditory, verbal, physical, logical, social, solitary, or some combination of these? It is okay if you do not know your learning style, you should experiment. So once you know what your learning style is, you adapt yourself to the style that benefits you the most, to increase the amount of work you can do, in the least amount of time. If you are a visual learner and you get bored looking at the same things again and again, it is recommended that you use mind maps or PowerPoint presentations to learn. You can also use a lot of differently colored highlighters in your report. If you are an auditory learner, one of the best ways to organize your thoughts is to think out loud. If that makes you look like a crazy person, find a friend or colleague who acts like a soundboard whom you can talk to without any hesitation. You can also rely on audiobooks or the Google's feature, text-to-speech, that reads your document out loud to you. Logical learners should focus on making lists or simplifying long data into points to make it appealing. Social learners should try to volunteer or work in group projects over individual projects. Even though all work and learning will have an individual component to it, it can be easier to work in groups that will meet periodically and help keep procrastination and boredom at bay. Solitary learners should do the opposite. Physical learners should try to work using a notebook or papers over laptops and screens, as much as possible to break the monotony. Ask yourself questions like, when do I like to work most? What makes me happy and helps me stay stress-free? What are my priorities in life right now? What are my short-term and long-term goals? These questions can help you not only know yourself better, but can assist you with prioritization of tasks, after which you focus on your tasks more.
Professor, I am curious to know that, if there is some quick fix when it comes to improving our focus levels, or is this a slow process that can only be worked upon over time?
Not at all. Attention span increases gradually. This can be most commonly noticed in children. In classes, younger children are supposed to study for 20 minutes and do activities. Young teens are, however, expected to be able to concentrate in classes for at least an hour, without a break. University students are expected to study for at least a few hours without a break. It can be noticed that schools try to make individuals more focused gradually. It makes no sense to expect a toddler to sit in the same class for 2 hours. So, it should also not make sense for you to think that you can double your attention span in a week. It has to be done with discipline. There are some useful techniques that can help you get into the habit of focusing. Try reading. People have become accustomed to reading tweets and captions. No one is able to focus while reading longer reports. To increase your attention span, start by reading longer articles and opinions that are relatively difficult, like the New Yorker or the Indian Express. These articles usually take about 10 minutes to read, and most people are still not able to go through them. After you are able to read at least 3 such articles, increase it to reading books and reports. Even sitting in the same place, such as while meditating, can be very difficult. Even if you do not want to practice meditation, it can be useful to sit still in a chair and gradually increase it by 1 to 2 minutes every day. At first, you might not be able to do it for more than 5 minutes. You will realize that you are very fidgety when you notice how much you change positions while sitting. Although it is important to move a little every 20 minutes, There is no reason to fidget every 3 to 4 minutes. This can cause you to be more focused on your body and break your concentration. For further proof, you will notice that you are always stationary when you are very focused in places like an examination hall, where you can sit still for up to 3 hours. If you consistently do this for about 20 days, this will help you in a stationary job too.
Professor, meditation and slow progress all sound very well when we are having a conversation like this one, but we live in a fast-paced world where people are more concerned about outcomes. I mean, it rarely matters how you get your work done, as long as you do it, and it can be very stressful when you cannot reach your desirable outcome. This fear of failure is one major concern.
I agree. The important thing is every person faces failure in their life. Failure looks like missing a deadline in some people's daily lives, while it can be more dramatic in other cases, like investing millions in a film that barely made any money. A person might get rejected after 5 job interviews. Although frustration is natural, it is important to understand what does not work, and how to do better. Sometimes, knowing simple things can lead you to focus on the problem and find a solution, leading you to tangible growth. We call them coping techniques. Coping techniques are the various ways in which we deal with our stresses and challenges in life. One important coping technique is cognitive reframing. People often have a singular outlook in life that they consider to be true. If a friend did not call back, she must be mad. Or, if you fail a test, it must mean you are stupid. This is not true. Ask questions like, is there another way to look at this situation? Or, what are the 3 other possible reasons this could have happened? Cognitive reframing refers to the act of creating a different way of looking at a situation, person, or relationship by changing its meaning, and can be very helpful when dealing with a situation where the details and reasons seem ambiguous. In such situations, most people usually assume the worst. Cognitive reframing can help one look at a situation from all perspectives.
What if it is something that you cannot change, something over which you have no control whatsoever?
I do not mean to sound cliched. It is like they say, change what you cannot accept what you cannot change. Emotion-focused coping techniques aid you in becoming less emotionally reactive to the stressor you face. They alter the way you experience these situations so they impact you differently. This type of coping may be useful when a stressor is something that you cannot change. What should you do if life has thrown a curveball that you cannot do anything about? You do what is best to cope with the emotions. This can include pursuing a hobby or trying something new. Traveling even for a weekend can do wonders, talking to friends and family, going to therapy if available. These might not solve your problems, but they will make you feel happy and ready to take on the challenges.
You know, Michael Jordan said, I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. 26 times, I have been trusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed it. I have failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed. It is important that we try to take lessons from our failures. Failure might be scary, but one only fails at the things that they attempt. Do things that might get you rejected, or try new things where you could fail. Over time, you will learn that failure is not as bad as you might imagine. With this, we have come to the end of the 6th section. Enjoy your quiz, folks.
The questions for this particular section are as follows.